Great. On the reviews, so I need everyone's attention. You can ask questions on either review. You just have to tell me which number. So let's go section by section. First section, either these 4 questions on this review, or it's the whole front back on the other one. Which of those do we want to see, go over, have questions about? Front or back of this page, any of those, or the 4 on the other? Any of those 4. Julia? Okay. So let's start with that one. So make sure you're paying attention. For this section, you are solving by taking the square root, so you need to isolate the variable first, get whatever rid of it, so subtract 2 first. Control, make sure you're paying attention. Divide both sides by 36. This becomes a fraction. Take the square root of both sides. Remember that you get a plus or a minus. I say or, but it's really both. And then write your answer as a solution set. You can either write it as plus minus 1/2, or you can separate it. Negative 1/2 and 1/2. Questions on that? Other questions in that section you want to see, go over, have questions about? Now would be the time to ask. 2 on this one? I mean 1. 1 on this one? Yeah. Okay. So x is already isolated. You just need to take the square root of both sides. Square root of 64 would be plus or minus 8. So remember that even though, yes, we know it's 8, a negative times a negative is also a positive, so we have to do both. If you don't do both, you're missing points. Other questions in that section from either review? What? So 7 on the other one, we would divide both sides by 36. Take the square root of both sides. And then make that into a solution set. Or you can just make this your solution set with curly brackets, either or. Any others in that section? Yes. 4 on which? On this one. Take the square root of both sides. On this page, the next section is a combined lesson 2 and 3. So go back to the other review, and we'll come back to it. This is just objective 3, finding your solutions. Do we have questions on that? Any of those? Okay. So you're looking for where does your parabola, your quadratic, cross the x-axis? Does it?
No, there's no. It's no solution.
So it's no. Sure. So 7 crosses at one point. 0, 0. Unless it says, write it as a order pair or coordinate, which you do. Use curly brackets. So 5, we have 2, -2 and 4, -2, 0, and 4, 0. So then, on the next page of this review, or the other review, which of these maybe it doesn't have that. Maybe I did. I skipped past that one. Okay, well. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So, questions from this page or questions from the other review? Nine. Okay. You'll need to state or show how you found the vertex. Algebraically would be showing, state that you found it in the graph or state that you found it in the table. Which way would you like to find this algebraically, graph or table? Okay. So if we're doing it algebraically, we need to remember x equals -b over 2a. And then this would be x equals -16 over 2 times 2, which would give us -16 over 4, which is -4. And then you would have to take that -4, put it back in for all your x's, and find y. And you can do that in pieces or put that whole thing into the calculator, figure out what that is. So if we do that, you have 2 times -4 squared plus 16 times -4 plus 30. -2. So you would have a point at -4, -2. And that would be you showing how you found your vertex. The other points, you can do it algebraically. I wouldn't recommend it. It's time consuming. I would just put this back into your calculator. The steps are on the board if you need them. So we're going to y equals. Type in your equation. If you don't have your calculator, I would go get it. Nope, you can do it in the table, in the graph, algebraically, your choice. Once you have your equation and your y equals, we're going to find our points from the table. So go in, hit second graph. We know our vertex was at -4, -2. So if we scroll to -4, then we can plot points around it. So negative 5, 0, negative 3, 0. Negative 6, 6, negative 2, 6. And then make a U shape. Some of them will look more V-ish, but that's okay. And draw arrows at the top. Make sure you're reading the directions. It may ask for more than just to graph. Other questions on this page or on the other review on this section? I do want to point out something on the other review. The back of this has a different format, so turn to that. Let's say we were doing 8. Here, you don't have to find or do the work to find vertex because it's given to you if you know what you're looking for. So if you look inside the parentheses and look at the number outside at the back, that should tell you what your vertex is. Whatever's on the inside, flip the sign. So it was negative, make it positive. Whatever's on the outside, keep it the same. Then the rest of the points you can find in the graph of the table. Do we need to see how to find the rest of the points? Do we want to try and find another vertex on this page? Which one? 11. So what would the vertex of 11 be? Opposite sign. Negative 3, positive. Then on the last objective, either review quadratic formula, any of those you want to see, go over if you have questions on. 6 on this number 6. Okay. So the one that has 10 problems, we're doing that number 6. Label your A, B, and C values first. The numbers, not the variables. This page didn't have it, so let's write it somewhere. Your formula. X equals negative B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2. There's a song when you get out of the group. Some of you may learn it. They may teach it to you. There's 2 different versions. I know the faster way. I'm not going to sing it. My husband knows the slower way, and every time he does that, I'm like, pick up the pace. I can't. But it'll be an interesting way for you to remember. So then we can start to put it in the formula. These variables are different, so use whatever variables you have instead of x. So r equals negative, b, it's already negative, so if you want to make that positive to begin with, you can. I'm going to just write it as is for now. So negative 5 plus or minus the square root of negative 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 6 all over 2 times 1. Start to simplify. So R equals positive 5 plus or minus negative 5 squared is what?
Positive 25.
Negative 4 times 1 times negative 6 is what?
Positive 24.
And then if we add 25 and 24, we get positive 49. Is 49 a perfect square? Yes.
Yep,
7. So R equals 5 plus or minus 7. Separated into two fractions. So 5 minus 7 over 2 and 5 plus 7 over 2.
So the negative 1 for the first one.
So that would be negative 2 over 2, so negative 1. Yep. And then
Positive 6.
any others? Any others? We want to see, do, go over, have questions about one on this page. So same thing, label A, B, C. So x equals negative 11 plus or minus square root of negative 11 squared minus 4 times 2 times 14. All over 2 times 2. And then we have positive 11 plus or minus negative 11 squared is what?
Isn't it positive 121?
121. Negative 4 times 2 times 14 is
Negative 112.
and then 121 minus 112
9.
is 9 a perfect square.
Yes.
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 We would get what?
3.
3. So 11 plus or minus 3 over 4. Separate it.
Positive 2. 11 minus. Oh, never mind, that's wrong. 11 minus.
Oh, I put 11 minus 3. But I think you were right for that. What did you say, positive 2? That was right.
Yeah, positive 2. And then, 3.5 for the second.
So you put 3.5, or what was it, 14 over 4, 7, halves, any of those. If you get a repeating decimal, leave it as a fraction. If you get a fraction, double check that it's not smaller than the other one, because it has to be least to greatest. Maya? 11 minus 3 is 8. 8 divided by 4 is 2. 11 plus 3 is 14, divided by 4 you get a negative underneath the square root as no solution. And then if you get something that's not a perfect square, just separate this. So if this was like 8, it would be 11 minus the square root of 8 over 4, and then 11 plus. And you would just separate it like that. You can write them as the decimals, but you would have to put the whole thing, 11 minus the square root of 8 over 4, figure out what that is, and then do the other side. They're general questions, not specific ones. Go ahead and clear off your desk except for your calculator, whatever you're writing with. Put your phones in a calculator pocket along with watches. Phones should not be in pockets, in book bags, under legs, anything like that.
Alright, let's do this. I guess we